So whenever you see like an alligator, okay, something that has an inequality, that means you have to shade one side, okay? So the first step is to graph the boundary line. So I'm just going to take this and write it as an equation. 1, y equals x plus 5. So don't look at it as an inequality, change it to an equal sign, and we're just going to graph it like normal. So I look at the methods. Should I use the slope-intercept method? Does it look like y equals mx plus b? Yeah, it does. Y is by itself, it's got an x and it has a 5. This is all by itself. That's the y-intercept. So I can use this method to graph it. So y equals mx plus b. That's the y-intercept. That's the slope. Okay? The x is not the slope. The number in front of the x is the slope. So 5 is my y-intercept. But there's no number in front of the x. There really is. It's a 1. It's just hiding. So my slope is 1. But you always have to have it as a fraction, so you always write it over 1. Whatever number it is, say my slope was 10, I put it over 1. Say my slope is 5, I put it over 1. Say my slope is -2, put it over 1. Say my slope is 1, put it over 1. So whatever your slope is, make sure it's a fraction, and if it's not, put it over 1. So step 1, y-intercept, go to the y-axis and put a point at 5. And we put it at +5 because it's +5. Now, the number on the top, remember for slope, up and down on the top, left and right on the bottom. So this 1 is positive, so it says go up. This 1 is positive, so it means go right. So put a point at 5, then go up 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1. See how I'm drawing a line with this? There. So now I connect those dots. So I've drawn my line. Now I have to figure out which side to color. Okay? So when I do that, I can pick any point I want on the graph. But I'm, you know, a little bit lazy. Casul. I want to pick the easiest point. The easiest point happens to be the origin. So I'm going to take this point that I picked and I'm going to substitute it into this inequality. So wherever the x and the y are, I put it here. I put the zeros. Because y is 0, x is 0, I put zeros. I'm substituting this point into the inequality. What's 0 plus 5? 5. Now when I read this, I have to decide if it's true or false. So if I go this way, I'm going to touch this side of the inequality sign first. See, if I read it this way, I touch the big side first, so that means 0 is bigger than 5. Is 0 bigger than 5? 0 is bigger than 5. Let's read it the other way. Let's go this way and see what it says. 5, and I'm touching the small side now. 5 is smaller than 0. Is 5 smaller than 0? No. This is false. This statement, it's not true. Okay? So when I substitute this point into the inequality, it is false. It doesn't matter which way you read it, this way or that way, it's false. That means every point on this side, when I substitute it into this inequality, it's going to be false. That means any point that I take on this side of the inequality is true. Okay, so then I have to decide what side to color. I always color the true side. So I'm going to color this side. Now I've made a small mistake. Okay, and this is a mistake students often do. They draw the line and then they color, but look, this inequality does not have an equal sign. So it should be a dashed line. When it has an equal sign, it should be solid. But see that? There's no equal sign, so this line should be dashed. So I'm going to go over it and change it to a dashed line. Okay, so try not to make that mistake. Alright, it's dashed, and I have to color the true side. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay. So graph the inequality. So first I'm just going to write it down, but with an equal sign. Let's do it here. No, let's do it here. 6x minus 5y equals 30. So, does it look like y equals mx plus b? Nope. That means I'm just going to use xy intercept method to solve it. Okay, so let's make a table of values. X, y, 0, 0. So if I go, if x equals 0, I'm going to put a 0 for x. So 6x minus 5y equals 30. Wherever there's an x, I'm going to put a 0. 6 times 0 is 0, so I have negative 5y equals 30. I have to get rid of the 5, because y wants to be alone, so divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5. Same over same as 1, so y equals negative 6. So if x is 0, y is negative 6. That's our first point. Now we do that again, but now y is 0. If y equals 0, take my equation. Wherever there's a y, I'm going to substitute in the 0. 5 times 0 is 0, so 6x equals 30. X needs to be alone, so divide by 6, x equals 5. So when y is 0, x is 5. So now I'm going to plot those 2 points, because those are my xy intercept. So x, here's my x, so I don't go left and right, I go down 6. So there's my first point. Now this says go positive 5, but don't go up and down. So there's my other point. Okay, wait, I don't want to do the same mistake as last time. Is this going to be a dashed or solid line? When it looks like this, there's no equal sign, it's dashed. When it has an equal sign, it's solid. So this one is dashed. So let's make a dashed line. There. Now I have to decide what side to color. I'm going to choose the easiest point here. The easiest point is 0, 0. I'm going to substitute 0, 0 into this inequality. So I'm going to go, oops, that's not a 0. I'm going to do 0, 0 and put it into this. Okay, so 6 times 0 minus 5 times 0 is less than 30. 6 times 0 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0, so this whole side is 0. So let's read it. 0, I touch the small side first. 0 is smaller than 30. 0 is smaller than 30. 0 is smaller than 30. That's true. 0 is smaller than 30. So that means when I substitute this point into this inequality, it's true. That means any point on this side is going to be true. True, true. These are all true points when I put them into this inequality. That means all these points are false. And I have to color the true side. So this side is true.